My favorite aspect of Impulse is video phones. Wait, we didn't ask me why I chose Impulse. Video phones.
I was looking into improving my networking background, and on an impulse I picked this company. I figured it was a good place to start and build upon the background that I already have. And I'm very impulsive.
I chose Impulse because Impulse has a reputation for respecting its employees and for creating a very supportive work environment that rewards hard work.
I wanted to work at Impulse because I was curious about what they did.
I didn't choose Impulse, the staff agency did.
I chose Impulse because I immediately wanted Tracy to be my boss, and because of the atmosphere and the opportunity to grow in my career.
Because I had an opportunity to work with Rachel, who's amazing, 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 amazing.
I don't think I chose Impulse. I think Impulse chose me and they gave the chance to the foreigner.
I chose Impulse because I needed a job.
It's because I was unhappy with my last job at Nordstrom, and going to a lot of interviews with a lot of different companies. Impulse seemed really fun and exciting, and I heard a lot of great reviews about Impulse.
Because it seemed like a place where I could get really good work experience and have a good time when I went to work every day.
I chose Impulse Advanced Communications because I had a daughter and needed employment. Impulse was hiring.
I was looking for something that would kind of use my skill set that I learned going to school. It's something I've always had a act for, and I was approached by a staffing agency which offered me a job at Impulse. And within my first 90 days of being here, I really enjoyed the culture, the environment.
I chose Impulse because I really like the culture.
My first impression of Impulse was a bunch of hippies like down at the beach, and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, I can totally hook you up with the internet. Awesome!" And they were walking around their Birkenstocks, and then like the company got really legit and successful, and they're like, "Maybe we should wear shoes."
Modern, definitely a modern company, and then very modern when I got to the IT section where it's traditionally messy.
My first impression of Impulse was the professionalism. From the moment that I walked in, it was very clear that it was ingrained in Impulse's culture to treat everybody with respect and courtesy, and it was really nice.
When I first walked in, I thought, wow, what a beautiful office.
How the company is connected and well informed with each other through emails and IM and all that good stuff.
The office was extremely dark, there were no plants, and everyone was in the smallest departments together.
Everyone was a family. I just remember everyone laughing and joking around with each other and just being very friendly, and it seemed like a very welcoming environment.
I just remember that people kept saying words that I had no idea what they meant.
My first impression of Impulse was that it was a very young company, which I was actually really excited about. There was no intimidation on the table, so it was a really fun and lively experience.
My first impression at Impulse was that there are a lot of beautiful ladies that work here.
Was that Daniel Luna speaks very loudly and forcefully, but very politely.
It's kind of like a dungeon where my department was. It was kind of small, but we got along, we got our jobs done, but everyone was really cool.
My first impression of Impulse was that it was very intimidating since I'm not necessarily a tech person.
My first day at Impulse is when I found out that the phones don't run over Wi-Fi, and I went out and bought a 50-foot Ethernet cable.
Completely lost, not knowing what was going on.
The only thing I remember about my first day is that the phone kept ringing off the hook, and I immediately was avoiding picking it up.
Nothing really interesting happened on my first day, but I had a smile on my face the whole day because I was so happy to be here.
I remember that the first day I just kept wondering if there was any other girls in the office besides Victoria.
I was like a shy puppy and didn't know who to talk to, where to go, anyone around. I was lost.
I had a great first day at Impulse, partially because I was greeted with donuts.
favorite aspect of Impulse so far is how welcoming and willing to help everybody is.
Favorite aspect of the company so far is that we are all very close with one another and that we do a lot of events together outside of work.
My favorite aspect, I would say, is the culture here, the friendly environment. People are so helpful. Everybody is so helpful here, and nobody makes you feel like a, you know what.
I really appreciate that Impulse allows us to explore different positions in the company and learn what we like to do, and this means a lot to me because I've already moved 3 different positions in Impulse, and I finally feel like I'm in one where I can really see myself learning and growing and making it a real career.
My favorite aspect about Impulse is the fact that this company respects a lot of our young employees, so I never come into Impulse thinking, oh, I'm too young to suggest that or do this or that, so there's a lot of respect there for our employees.
My favorite aspect of the company so far is all the cool people I get to work with every day.
My favorite aspect of the company is that everyone has time to talk about whatever. You drop by and they're very friendly.
My favorite aspect of Impulse is the teamwork that's here, the fact that I know everybody that's in the company.
Oh, my favorite person? That'd be Dave Clark.
My favorite person at Impulse is Dave Clark.
I love everyone at Impulse. Well, especially Dave Clark.
I'm told my favorite person is Dave Clark.
My favorite person at Impulse would have to be Dave Clark.
Tall, dark, and handsome dude that runs the company. Aha. Yeah, he's the man, Dave Clark.
My favorite person? Dave Clark.
Oh, that's easy. Dave Clark.
My favorite person in the company is Dave. Surprise!
My favorite person here is Dave Clark.
I enjoy talking with Dave Clark in his office about random stuff like kids.
And Dave Clark's the man.
I have to think about that. There was a band a long time ago. I think it was called something like the Dave Clark 5 or something like that back in the 50s.
I have to say Dave. Oh, Dave Clark.